your dream car is a Bugatti, click off the video. You know what I mean? All right, today I'm gonna be putting y'all on game, man. This real game. I'm not selling you a course. I'm not telling you how to be a millionaire, a billionaire. I'm not telling you that your life sucks. I'm not telling you this and that. I'm just giving you the game that I lived and that I experienced, and I'm providing you the information so you can copy me and you don't have to go through the trials and tribulations that I did. Okay? So basically, I'm gonna give you guys the game on how to afford essentially your dream car. Now, if your dream car is a Bugatti, click off the video. You know what I mean? Your obtainable dream car, I should be specific, the obtainable dream car that you want, whether it's a BMW M4 or Camaro ZL1 or Corvette, something like that. That kind of obtainable dream car. Now, the game I'm about to give you, you may be able to afford a supercar, not a hypercar. Depends on how good you are and depends on how well you apply the game. So basically, to start it off, this is mainly for people that are just graduating high school, or if you're in high school, just giving you a heads up on the real world and what you can do to be able to afford your dream car in no time. I'm 20, I graduated in 2022, and I'm driving a BMW M5, a 570 horsepower car. I mean, there's an R8 right there. You might be able to afford one of those too. And this is great. Besides all the BMW problems, this is great, but I can afford it because I live by this game that I'm about to give you. Okay, so to start it off, let's say in perspective, you're in high school. If your high school has an opportunity to go to a trade school, do it. Do it by any means. Unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, or you want to be in the finance industry, go to trade school. Trust me. If you like working with your hands, it's a lot of critical thinking, but it's not as critical as you think. So I would advise to go to trade school. If you're not in high school, you can still go to trade school. You can go to trade school as an adult. Now, that would be your first bet, because whatever trade you pick, now me personally, I am an auto collision tradesman, so that's what I picked. You could be a mechanic, you could be a welder, a carpenter, a construction worker, HVAC, whatever, electrician. All very high paying jobs, because what you need is a high paying career with a low entry cost. Let me get out of sports mode. High paying career with a low entry cost. You do not want to go to college and spend 6 figures to make 80 grand. You know, and you spend all that time paying all the money back. Now, like I said, if you're passionate about what you want to do and it takes a college education, go for it by all means. But this is the game that I did. So basically, you would go to trade school to learn whatever trade you want to do. And in my example, I did auto collision, and I learned the basics there, the bare basics. And this is the real game, because I know some of you might have went to trade school and you didn't do this. What I did is I went out on my own endeavor, going shop to shop, dressed up in a nice polo, whatever, going shop to shop, asking them for a job, asking them for an opportunity to learn. Because yeah, you can go to school, but real world experience is way more valuable than school, hands down. If you can get real world experience, then that's just way more valuable, and you're getting paid. So I went and I finally found a place. I stumbled upon a place that was able to take me in and give me an opportunity to shadow a technician, pretty much apprentice work. That's pretty much what you're gonna have to get into. And it was terrible pay. It was $10 an hour, which is just not affordable in any state, in any economy. But there was a lot of knowledge, there was a lot of game. I worked with a good technician who was able to teach me a lot of information, a lot of skills, and a lot of shortcuts. The guy's in a trench coat, it's 70 degrees outside. But anyways, I worked with him for $10 an hour for a year. Now, I went and got another job because, you know, that's just not a livable income. I got another job, and that's pretty much what you're gonna have to do. Now, if you're lazy, click off the video. Because if you're lazy, this isn't gonna work. This method isn't gonna work for lazy people. If you want your dream car, you can't be lazy. If you want your dream house, you can't be lazy. If you want your dream anything, you can't just be lazy. It's not gonna fall into your hands. So you're most likely gonna have to get a second job to afford your living expenses or whatever you want to do, your shopping addiction, whatever. But you shouldn't have a shopping addiction, because I'm gonna get to that later in this video, in the game. But you apprentice, you learn what you can, and after a year or so, you want to either negotiate with the company that you're interning for, or you want to leave and go to another company and provide them your resume that you already worked for another shop or whatever trade you go into, but you already worked for somebody else and you have hands-on experience. Now, on your resume, you tell them on your resume everything that the guy that you shadowed did. Even if you didn't do it yourself, tell them everything that the guy you shadowed did, because you watched them do it and you technically learned how to do it. So that's your experience right there. You never have to be 100% honest on your resume. Nobody is. Get it up a little bit, make it sound more believable, make it sound like you're more qualified than you are for the job. Because once they hire you, they're not gonna fire you because you weren't qualified in this one thing that was on your resume. So what I was able to do is I found another company, and I started there working side by side with another guy who also taught me a lot of things. And I started there for a low pay, of course, because you're still gonna have to be low pay. That's the thing with these apprentices jobs. And if you want to be in a trade, you have to start out at bottom tier pay. That's just the way of it. If you don't like it, then click off. But you're not gonna be driving your dream car, so don't click off. But pretty much you're gonna be at a low pay. You wanna pick up a side hustle. My side hustle at the time was DoorDash, which was paying me enough to save a lot of money. Now, this is where we are. Your first year working the real job, because you went and got the apprenticeship and you did a year of that, and now you're at your real job doing the real thing, doing the real trade for low pay, and you get your side hustle. Now, if you live with your parents, take advantage of this opportunity. Take advantage of living with your parents so you can save as much money as possible. Because once you move out, that's a whole nother expense you have to worry about. A lot of other expenses. So live with your parents, offer them a little money to incentivize staying with them, because you don't want to look like you're freeloading off of them. Offer them a couple $100 and they should let you stay. They love you. You're offering to help pay for the rent. They'll take respect in that as you're becoming a grown adult. So you want to take whatever side hustle you do, whatever side job you do. If you want to work at Walmart night shifts after you do your trade job, that's what you do. And you take all the money that you make from that side job and you save it. Now, it's gonna sound crazy. You try to live off of that low paying tech job as much as possible and stay down and learn everything that you can. You're not gonna know everything after your first apprentice year. So now that you're at the new job, getting real hands-on experience, learn everything that you can, and sorry, I'm looking that direction. Learn everything that you can and save as much as you can. Now, you want to be saving almost 70% of your income. Now, obviously that's not possible for everybody depending on your situation, but that's just the way I was doing. I was saving 70% of my income, and within the first 6 months of working that tech job that I got, not tech like technology, tech as in trade technician, and first 6 months I was able to save about 25 grand in 6 months. And that's just because of I had low living expenses. I gave my parents some money for the rent and bought some food, and that was just about it, and saved everything else. Car insurance was cheap. I drove a Chevy Cobalt at the time. That's another thing. Drive a cheap car. Do not, if your goal is to buy your dream car, why would you go and spend a bunch of money on a car that you don't truly want? If you want a Hellcat, why are you spending 25 grand on a Toyota Camry? Get the $2,000 Camry and drive that around until the wheels fall off so you can save as much money as you can. And no car payments, no high insurance. Just drive the hoopty around, because once you drive the hoopty around for a few years, you can get what you want. All right, now 6 months, save 25 grand. And you know, as you get older, your expenses get a lot higher. So as time goes on, I'm saving less and less, but the first 6 months, locked in, side hustle was DoorDash, working the tech job for, it was in the $30,000 a year range, very low. But think about this, you would have been in school making no money from every class that you were going to, making no money from every piece of homework that you were doing, but instead you're working this job, learning a skill, so you're learning and you're being paid. That's the best of both worlds, and you're learning how to do a high-paying skill, because hopefully by now in this video you decided to choose a high-paying skill and not a low-paying skill, of course, but you would be learning a high-paying skill. So now a year goes by, and I'd say after a full year, probably saved about 35 grand, which is pretty good for a young person, you know, that's looking to buy a nice car. And you know, this was a few years ago. Some years go by and way more money now, you know what I mean? Wouldn't say exponentially more money, but you're making more money and you were able to save the money over these years. Now 3 years in, you've been doing this for 3 years, you've been making raises over time. You're not at the base 30,000 or 40,000, whatever you were at the beginning. And give me 1 sec. 3 years go by, and 3 years you're able to work up your skills a pretty decent amount if you stayed consistent. You kept learning, you stayed consistent, and you stayed down. 3 years go by. Now you've been doing this for 3 years. You've been with this company for 3 years. You know what that means? It's time to negotiate. You've made yourself a valuable asset to this company because you've been with them for 3 years. You know, you're a part of their process. You're very valuable to them now, and you've built up the skills over the years too. So you know what that means? Negotiation time. So one thing you should do first is look at other job listings to see how much they are willing to pay you for your experience. So that may even mean you go through the interview process with another company and you ask them, how much are you willing to pay? And they are gonna offer you a way higher number than the current company you're at will pay. That's just the way it is. Now there's two things you can do with that. You can take that offer and go to the new job, make way more money, and run with it. It'll get you closer to your dream car. Or you can take in that offer, put it in the back of your head, and go to your employer, your current employer, and say, hey, I'm looking for a raise. Don't do this verbatim, I'm paraphrasing. Hey, I'm looking for a raise. This is what other companies are offering. Is there some way you can work up to that or more? Now, at this point, you're a valuable asset to their company. So of course they don't want you to leave. You know, basic stuff. They don't want you to leave. So they're gonna counter offer. And there's 3 ways this can go. They can match your offer, they can go higher, or they can come a little bit lower than the offer. But I'll tell you this, wherever you just went, wherever you just went is gonna offer you a way higher number. So if your current company will bump down a little bit from that, that will be fine. If this other place offered you $250,000 and your current employer offers you 170, it's still good money at the end of the day. And you're already comfortable where you're at. You're already comfortable with your job, so why not stay? So that is how you're gonna maximize your income in the first couple years. And I gave a little bit of game on how you're gonna save so that you can have cash on hand to buy your dream car cash, or once you're making this nice income, you can finance a car, you can lease a car. Now, me personally, I don't really like the finance and lease cars, but if that's what you want to do, you now have the income to afford it, and you have the savings account to back it. So that is game. That is the game that I gave you in shorter terms, no course, just free game. Try and go to a tech school. Even if you don't go to a tech school, still do the second step. The second step is to go out and try and find an employer that'll give you a chance to learn and pay you while you learn. Second step, work with that employer for a year, try and negotiate with them, or find a new job that'll let you run that position not under an apprentice. Then you work with that job for 2-3 years, and now you can negotiate to make a higher income with that company or another company, because now you're a skilled technician and you have experience under your belt that is valuable. So that is the free game of the day. If you guys want me to drop more free game, I'm willing to do that. I'll see how this video goes, and I'm open to give game. I'm not gonna tell you how much money I make. I'm not gonna tell you how much money's in my bank account, but I will give you the game to earn your dream car, dream house, dream boat, whatever the case may be. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.